Hikaru Shinomiya. My hobby is hunting kaiju. Don't you dare forget it.
What's up, y'all? We just got the latest chapter of Kaiju No8 Chapter 124. And I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I wasn't excited for this chapter. And I know some of y'all like, yo, Nero, why? Hey, look, I woke up like, yo, I ain't gonna get excited. With the cliffhanger we got with the last chapter, it's going to be one of those days where you go to read the chapter and you're going to get that chapter 123.1. That's what I just knew exactly that was going to happen. I was like, yo, they're not going to get me. They've got me so many times in the past. I'm not going to be that guy who rushed to look at the app and then be unsatisfied because we're getting a little picture chapter. I just knew they were going to do it. So when I opened it, I'm like, it's a real chapter. What? Hey, it was a complete surprise. I did not expect them to do it, man. Hey, keep in mind, whenever we get a big cliffhanger in this series, it either goes on break or you get one of those picture chapters. You know what I'm saying? So I just knew that's what we was going to get. But it was a nice treat that we actually got an official chapter. And Kikoru, hey, yo, she's that girl, yo.
To rip through their armor like a sheet of tissue paper.
She has proven herself in this chapter right here. Now, I know a lot of people may look at this chapter and say it was an ass pull. I could see some people saying that, but the reason why the information wasn't available to us makes sense. They didn't want the intel to be leaked out and that person be devoured by number 9. So I can respect that. It makes sense. It doesn't feel like an ass pull to me with that excuse. It's very understandable, you know, and I really like that we get to see what Kikoru is truly capable of now. But what really made this chapter shine, it wasn't the new stuff. It wasn't that Kikoru was able to use the retina of number 1. It was the flashbacks. The flashbacks of the battle when the general lost to number 9 and was devoured. If you think about that chapter, and I should put the number of the chapter at the bottom of the screen so people can go back and read it. But if you think about that chapter, there were so many opportunities. Well, not so many, but there were a few opportunities that Kafka had to actually defeat number 9. Number 9 said it himself. Because he absorbed the general, he was in a weakened state and he needed to retreat. So he unleashed a very powerful blast. And this blast would have wiped out the whole area, would have killed Kikoru had Kafka not chose to jump in front of her and protect her. And that's one of the things she's been carrying with her because she was so weak in that moment. You know, they were forced to let number 9 retreat and live another day after what he just did to her father, after just devouring the general. And Kikoru feels like if she was stronger, she could have protected herself and Kafka would have had the opportunity to get that strike on number 9. But then again, I mean, it could be a blessing in disguise because if number 9 would have got that fatal strike on him, you know, this ancient kaiju would have emerged back then and Kafka wasn't ready for it back then, definitely not. So, I mean, I guess it kind of worked to their advantage, but that whole time, this has been weighing heavily on her because of her weakness. She wasn't able to protect her father. Because of her weakness, she was holding everybody back. Gin, as well as, you know, Kafka had to hold back in order to protect her in the final moments of number 9 escaping after devouring the general. And those flashbacks make this chapter hit so hard because it wasn't mentioned too often after that you know, we seen you know, Kikoru cry and feel sad about it, but it wasn't really showcased too much. But to know that this whole time that's been weighing heavily on her and she wanted to do whatever it took to become stronger, to get her revenge for her father, to free her father, so to speak. And in this chapter, she says she wants to free her father, but I don't want you guys to look at that and think that she means like, oh, the general will come back. No, when she says free her father from being held captive within the body of number 9 in this ancient kaiju, she's saying like she's gonna free her father through death. She's gonna destroy this kaiju in order to set her father free. So it's not more so him coming back to life, it's more so like letting him rest in peace. That's what she's referring to when she says, you know, she wants to free her father. I just wanted to clear it up because I'm pretty sure some people are probably like, oh, the general's still alive in there. No, he's not coming back. He was devoured. His body was already assimilated. I do not see it happening. I mean, it might be a small chance, but I don't see that happening. I think he's gone. But I will say, I would have loved for the general to see what his daughter has become. I think that would have been an epic moment. And maybe before like the body of this kaiju like deteriorates, you might have a moment where the general personality may come to the forefront for a brief moment as like the body's disintegrating and it says like, yo, Kikoru, you made me so proud. You know, maybe something like that may actually happen in the upcoming chapter. But one thing I will say, I do like the fact that we get to see Kafka and Kikoru fight together, work together as a team. All we need is Reno here. Now I know y'all gonna say, yeah, we got Reno when, you know, he was trying to pave a way for Kafka to get to Mina, but I don't really consider that because those were underlings. Granted, they were powerful kaijus he was fighting, but they weren't like the main threat. So for me, I can't really say they fought side by side. You know what I'm saying? That's just how I feel about it. You guys can let me know how y'all feel about that, man. But yo, Kikoru is on a whole nother level. We about to get into this chapter, but make sure you subscribe, hit the bell for all notifications. If you want to donate to your boy, you can, you know, hit that thank you button, you know, but that's only if you want to. But the chapter pretty much starts off where you got a flashback of Kikoru where they're running tests on her to see which number weapon she's actually compatible with. And she's showing a class 5 with the number weapon 4, which is the suit that she's currently wearing and the suit that her mom wore in the past. You know, the suit that's able to take flight. It's crazy because I forgot that suit can fly until this chapter. I honestly forgot, but they say it's the fastest suit among the defense force. You got it where she's also class 4 and 3 other kaiju suit number weapons. Number 1, number 2, number 7. Now, number 1 is what Gin used, the retina eye. Number 2 is what the general used that was actually devoured by kaiju number 9 in the past. And then we got number 7, which we don't have any information on number 7. Maybe she might actually use this weapon at some point and we might actually get to see what number 7 weapon actually is. That would be dope as hell to see. I hope we get to see that. It might not even be her. It might be Mina, and I'm gonna tell y'all what we're talking about when we get to that point in this chapter. It might be Mina who used number 7, but the fact that she's compatible with 4 different number weapons is unheard of. She's the first person to ever be like this in the history of the Defense Force, and that right there already makes her goated, man. Yo, but I feel like part of that is because at least 2 of them is because of her origin. You know, her mother was able to utilize number 4. Her father was able to utilize number 2. So right off the bat, she should be compatible with those 2 right off the bat. So then number 1 and number 7 is just, hey, it's just a pleasant surprise. So I really like the fact that she's different. But you got it where, you know, Gin as well as the other officers that's in the room with her while they actually running the test, they want to keep this a secret because if someone was to devour the person who had this information, number 9 would know it. And seeing how number 9 is so well thought out when he goes to calculate stuff for a battlefield, he will put that into his strategic, plans to actually counterattack this ability of hers. In fact, he may even target her as opposed to, going straight after Mina. So the fact that they kept this was a secret was very smart. But you got it where right off the bat, the first thing Kikoru does when she finds out this information is she says like, yo, Gin, teach me, Captain, teach me how to use number 1's retina. And we see that number 1 retina is very similar to the Rinnegan from Naruto, where if one eye sees it, all eyes see it. And so she's able to gather all this intel through the battles that Gin has had with this ancient kaiju throughout the past few chapters. So all the data that Gin's been gathering, it was not only for himself, but it was for Kikoru so that she can use it as well in the battle. And so it was kind of like he just paved the way for it, and I like that. But you got it where they show Kafka, he's completely surprised, like, Kikoru, what's going on? You got it where Hoshina's like, yo, she can use number weapon 1. Like, yo, we was never told about this. We wasn't given this intel. And then you got it where Gin, I'm telling you, Gin is just cool as shit, yo. You got it where he was like, yo, well, I mean, yeah, we kept the information from you, but shit, you taught Kafka, modified combat techniques in secret, right? So, I mean, we kind of even. He was like, this is the ace in the hole, to get the jump on number 9. And we know Gin looked at the general as a father. He looked at Kikoru's, father as his father as well. And the fact that he was taken out, this whole time, Ging was seeking his revenge against number 9. And I don't know if you remember the chapter where he walks up to Kafka. After Kafka finds out, the more that he uses his kaiju power, the less likely he will be able to revert back to his human form. You had it where Ging walks up to him and he's like, yo, I don't care about none of that. He's like, yo, give me your help. Aid me in trying to get revenge against number 9 for what he did to the general. And you had it where Kafka stood up and said he will do that. So to see that Ging is still holding on to that grudge, he wanted to utilize Kikoru to her fullest capability so that he could get his revenge against number 9. And you got it where Ging goes to say like, yo, the embodiment of number 9, countless eyes, it shares everything of his field of vision to the wearer. And the replacements, the stored replacements ones that they have and storage and stuff like that. So Kikoru was able to observe everything that's been going on this battlefield. Now the crazy thing is, I wonder if her eyes had to be activated, because we know she didn't use it in the battle against number 15, or is it one of those things where she's constantly gaining the data regardless? And I'm curious why she chose not to use it against number 15. Maybe she just wanted to save that trump card. Not only that, number 15 was more so like a psychic attack, a battle from within the mind, as opposed to a battle in the out front real world. But you got it where Hoshina's able to figure it out. He's like, yo, so he's been fighting with him, sharing his vision to Kikoru all this time. You got it where the new general's like, yo, look, man, it's gonna be kind of hard to defend what you actually did, because they kept it a secret from so many members of part of the defense force. And you have it where Ging said like, yo, this is our last resort. I'll take full responsibility. Now go finish what you started that day, Kikoru. And you just got him with that cool ass look looking at Kikoru. And then you just got this golden panel of Kikoru standing on the rooftop, her axe inside of the rooftop, like piercing the rooftop, while she's holding the handgun, looking at this ancient kaiju, and the ancient kaiju is also looking at her. And she's like, yo, you changed how you look, but daddy is still inside there. And you got it where she tells Kafka, like, the fact that she seems so mature from the Kikoru we knew so many chapters ago, how confident she feels, how she looks at Kafka and she's giving Kafka commands. She's like, yo, I'm going to send your fist, all the way to this thing's core, so make sure you shatter it. And then you have it where Kafka is observing Kikoru and he sees the change in her, and he's thinking about that day. That's when we get these flashbacks. He's thinking about the day where he hid outside the office door of Ging after they had the funeral for the general. And you got it where Kikoru, she didn't attend the funeral. She stayed in Ging's office, or her father's office, and cried the whole time. And then you got it where Ging was like, yo, you didn't come to the funeral to mourn your father. And she said, I will mourn him when the defense force neutralize the creature once and for all. I can't mourn him right now because he's still alive. And that's why I was saying earlier, freeing her father doesn't mean bringing him back to life. It just means she's freeing him from the clutches of number 9. So she knows her father won't return, but she wants him to be free from this beast. And I don't know, I just thought that was epic, man. Not only that, seeing the panels of her crying, I remember when I read those chapters, I was like, yo, damn, this shit's crazy. Because the general battle, man, he went all out. But you got it where Kafka looks at her and says like, yeah, leave it to me. He's like, yo, let's free the director general. And Kafka himself is aware that freeing the general means killing the general. And it's a sad thing, but you got it where, Kikoru's observing everything. Kafka's powering up. You got the ghosts and spirits flowing around him. I love the fact that they do that with the power up. You got it where he's like, yo, let's go and take down this threat. Neutralization operation begins now. Of course, you got it where Kafka's heading straight towards this ancient kaiju. It starts to use those ruin attacks, but right when it's about to rip off Kafka's head again, that's when you have your girl Kikoru blasting the location of the organs that's actually trying to attack Kafka, using her, using the retinas of number 1 to actually see it. And she's like, yo, I gotta destroy the organs before they attack, and I got to dodge at the same time. And this just looks epic. You got her trying to locate the core at the same time. shooting this kaiju whenever it tries to attack Kafka to keep him at bay. Then you got it where it's trying to advance. This ancient kaiju is trying to attack Kikoru, but keep in mind she has the fastest number weapon suit. She's able to avoid it because she's able to fly. She's in the air, zooming around, attacking it and dodging at the same time. And then you have this moment where Mina starts talking to Nogi and tells her like, yo, I have a favor to ask. And that's why I think there's a chance that we might see Mina get a new numbers weapon. She might actually pull out number 7 and just do some work. That's what I'm saying. Like, I really think it's possible, because we don't know, and we don't find out the favor that she just asked Nogi. We do not know at this moment. But of course you got it with Kikoru, she's dodging all the attacks, and she's also reflecting on that moment where she thought about her father's death, and she was shedding tears saying like, yo, she will become stronger. She's thinking about all she can do at that moment was watch Gin as well as Kafka face off against number 9. She said she dragged everyone down. And like I said, there was a moment where Kafka could have got the finishing attack off on number 9, but he chose not to because he had to protect Kikoru from the blast that number 9 unleashed right before he was able to retreat. And he was able to get away, and you see that's been weighing on her this whole time. And then you got it where she says to herself, but this time I swear I'll get you out of there, just hold tight, daddy. And the chapter ends with her flying above the ancient kaiju looking for its core. Beautiful chapter. This shit was amazing. I'm sorry, yo. This was a great ass chapter. I loved it from start to finish. To see the growth of Kikoru, to see how she's able to utilize many number weapons, and right now she's using 2. I wonder what type of strain it would put on her body if she was to use more than 2. I'm very curious about that. And as far as we know, she hasn't used full release in this battle. So once she does full release, there's a chance she might even be able to take her retina eyes to the level that Gin was able to make his evolve to, and maybe even further. Who knows? We'll just have to wait and see. But I am very curious what Mina is up to. What is Mina planning on doing? What did she have Nogi actually do for her as a favor? Do you think it will be her using a number weapon 7, or maybe even another numbers weapon that we're unaware of? Let me know your thoughts on that. I'm very curious, man. And how do you feel about the general? Do you think it's a small chance he could return, or do you think it's more so what I was saying, where she wants to free her father back, by destroying number 9, freeing him through death? Let me know your thoughts on that. And if you like this video, thumb it up, please subscribe, hit the bell for all notifications, and I will catch you in the next one. Peace.